My name is Devania Apollonia, and I am your host for today. My guest is Miss Cindy Crawford and Mr. Cotton Gladden. Today, we're here to talk about the importance of education. Miss Cindy, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me. Um, I have been a teacher for at the high school level for the past for about 13 years total, and I have attained my bachelor's degree in music education. So I am glad to share this topic with you today.
Thank you. And our guest, Mr. Cotton Gladden, he's a student and also a good friend of mine. So, without further ado, I'm just going to say a bit sort of something that we're going to get into. So, the access of quality education is crucial for the development and future success of young people. Discussing the barriers to education, such as financial constraints, and school infrastructure, and much more. So, just to what I want us to talk about is, what we can do as people to talk about the things that, in certain rooms are not accepted. And as young people, what we feel that adults should know and our concerns about certain things in school. So my first question, why is education important for young people and society as a whole? Ms. Crawford?
Okay, I can go back to an old saying that I have been hearing from I was very young. Education is the key to success, and I really and truly believe that that is true. There's a lot of truth in it, because education is the key that opens a lot of doors. It opens the doors of jobs, more opportunities for people to be a part of. If you don't have education, you will more than likely you will not get as far. In truth, there are some people maybe who haven't gone to high school or haven't gone to college, but they have still found a way to make it in life. But that is very few. Most of us, we need education that would give us access to the things that we want. All right. Also, for society, it helps to drive the society if we have people who are educated, if we have people who are self-driven and confident in themselves. You get to see the society thrives. All right. I believe those are some of the important things in considering education for young people and society as a whole.
Well, honestly, I really like that. I've recently graduated myself, and I feel like my education has really made me bloom a lot into the person who I am. Besides learning inside, I've learned outside from people and the people around me. And so my next question would be for you, Mr. Gladden. What are some challenges that students face in education systems today?
Poverty can prevent children from attending school regularly, as they might need to work to support their families and cannot afford school-related expenses.
I definitely think that's a good point. So, you mentioned poverty, right? And where I'm from, the south side, it's something that I see a lot, right? People would be stereotyped about it, saying it's only the males that, they only do 2 years at high school and then they'll start smoke and drink. But honestly, the important is to help a friend to help a friend. So, in my case, we're here to help those, right? So, my next question would be for Miss Crawford. How can students make the most out of their education?
I think back to the times I have been in the classroom and have had students maybe prepare a presentation for literature or even a song presentation. And sometimes I get sad because I do not see them putting in as much effort as they should and enjoy what they're doing. 4 years, that I'm talking about the high school level, 4 years is not that long. And I believe that as long as you have the opportunity to be in a school, to be in a school setting, that you should enjoy it. Not be down and depressed, oh, it's a lot of work. Yes, it's going to be a lot of work. And if you want your education and you go higher, it's going to be more work. So why not just enjoy the process? I think about my school days. I graduated from high school like 20 something years ago, right? And I can remember my friends looking like they're bringing their mom's entire house to school. The classroom would actually be set up like a home setting, and they put their all into their literature presentation, standing on the desk for a Raising in the Sun, or pretending that you're a runaway slave in history, and those things are still vivid in my mind, and that was what made high school fun. So I think today our children need to be a bit more appreciative of the opportunity that they have to learn, and really take the bull by the horns and enjoy it, and put your entire effort into your subjects, into your high school time, enjoying the process with your friends, because the time is short, but you are definitely going to remember those days in high school that made it a lot of fun.
Well, honestly, I feel like I made the most out of my education.
You did?
Because as a person I am today, like, COVID never really stopped me from really blooming into the sun, because, going off from primary school and then boom, a whole pandemic, that's never something I imagine as a 13-year-old. So going to Palo Alto High School as a pro graduate to this day, I made the most. I ensured that, I have my skills, I have my talents. I was an actor, I was a musician, I was a lot of things at school. And honestly, people always ask me, how do I do it? And my response is, it's my passion. So it's really, put your all into it and appreciate everything. That's why I'm thankful for who you are today, because you played a good part in my high school journey. That music part really is my biggest thing at school. So we're going to go on to you, Mr. Carden. I have a question, right? Can you share, either of you, can you share some successful stories of students who overcome obstacles, or yourself, to succeed in school, having a problem, or this one funny time in school? Is there a story to tell?
Talking about success story, my mind went on two persons. Firstly, my mom. My mom went to Palo Alto High School as well, in the 60s. And it was really hard for her because of poverty. Her family was very poor. Her mom, yes, worked, but couldn't afford as much as parents can afford today for their kids. It was bad. Like, she only had like 3 dresses for school when school began. She was a work scholar, did not have, I've heard countless stories of not having money for lunch and walking home lunchtime pretending that she's going home for lunch. She was actually looking on the ground for money to take home for my grandmother, so maybe they can buy a potato and pigtail or whatever, but she did not let that stop her. She continued on, struggled through, and got help from various people along the way. But now she has her master's in education. So she did not let her poverty or her situation define who she is. And she has taught in the primary school system and in the high school system for, I believe it's like 37 years. So I want to encourage any young person who may have it, who may not have it as best as they would like to, that you can still find a way, still continue going, try to do your best, reach out to your teachers. I mean, I have had time in at school when I have had to help students. Miss, my mom didn't bring my lunch money. Can you lend me $5 and I'll bring it back tomorrow? Sure. And I know that bring it back tomorrow, it never really works out. They never really bring it back, but because I know they don't have it. Because if they have it, they wouldn't have asked, right? And I know there are countless teachers who feed children, who sometimes help to provide uniform, to help students so that they can have one less thing to worry about for one day. So poverty, yes, it exists, but it doesn't have to be a barrier. There is a way above it. And I also think about this young lady who was blind, who recently graduated from Palote again, Maria Carl, right? She came to Palote in second form, and she did not let her blindness stop her. And it went so far to the point where students were inspired to create, I think the name of the cane is Smarts, I'm not sure, but they created a cane in their robotics club that allowed her to use it so she knew how far any object was from her. And also, I believe it came with her glasses. All right, so that she can detect anything that is close to her face. So she did not let that stop her. She's differently abled, but she's still able. And she used her gift of music as well to even inspire others. She had a very beautiful voice, and so she did not let her ability or lack thereof to stop her from getting her education.
Yeah, I remember Maria.
During COVID, I did not take school seriously. Like, but after like the day home, like after being home for so long, like the being to myself, like I just gave up on school completely. Like I never more. Like I feel like I had depression at the time because I like every time I say I get assignments and classes, I just ignore it. And then when the year come, like, and then I realized that my GPA that was 0.91. That when I realized that the next time when I start school again, I'll take it seriously. But the thing is that at the time, because that was me and myself, because the thing is I live with my elderly grandparents, so that really just me and them. So like when you like when you like they by yourself all the time, like when you get help from others, like it really changed the way how you see things. Because when after I fail, instead I may like get hate, I get only support. Cause as a minute I ask that like afterwards I may fail, I start online courses. The thing is, because online school different from regular school,
Yeah.
they give you your assignments in the week, and then you supposed to send it in by Saturday. But the thing is, like when it comes to the teachers, they not send any, like they not send no notes or anything, so you have to learn how to be a researcher on your own. I learn how to research things by your own.
Thank you for sharing that, and it's your testimony. That is a testimony. It's very powerful
Totally.
because you overcame a lot. You know, it's very sad. I feel I am grateful that you shared that, you know, because it does represent a lot of what the Belizean students and students on a whole in the entire world was going through, and it opened my eyes as an educator, all right, to be more aware of what my students are doing, what they are feeling, and not be as much concerned of, oh, I have this syllabus that I have to conquer. But you may be going through a lot of things that are not really tied to education. There's so many different factors, and that COVID time was a lot for everyone because teachers and all, we had to learn in like record time how to manipulate Zoom and all the different apps because we still had to continue with school. But that does not negate the fact that some of our students were hurting, some of our students were not doing well and trying to cope with all that was going on in their lives. So thank you for sharing that, Carden. You are awesome and you are an overcomer because of that.
I agree.
Thanks.
So, those were both very inspiring stories. I have my personal own, of course, but you know, Carden, honestly, with distance, you know, because of COVID, we grew separate, you know, from school, and so me not knowing as a friend what exactly happened, but you know, coming back, progressing with this social media and everything, we did conversate and everything, and you know, telling me this now really showed me that you really overtook a lot of things, and I'm proud of you, you know, for that. And so that's why the importance of education, you know, we're here to learn. And honestly, I feel like you mentioned earlier, if you don't have education, what do you have? And you know, if I'm not educated, what do I know? And sometimes, like as a Belizean, it's, you know, who you know and what you don't know, because that's how we work by connections. And you know, mentioning feelings, that's one of our episodes. You know, we're going to raise mental health, you know, bring it to the table. And so COVID really put us through a lot as people, and it takes a village to raise a person. And honestly, my village raised me very well. And so mentioning that we as students may, you know, get the work done, but behind a screen, what is our situation? As a teacher, you know, learning to, okay, never having to do online classes the first time, so fast, so quickly, it's so much. And as a teacher, what is her situation? So being hands-on, we all learn different. And, you know, feeling people take it as, oh, you're never good enough. And honestly, I want you to know, you know, that's not what we're here to do. You know, feeling is a sign to we're going to do better, either by ourselves or together. And honestly, education. Education. As a person, as an advocate for youths, I do everything in my power to share. Because I know what it is sometimes not to know something. And learning something is like my most powerful power, because if I know something, I teach someone and I teach myself. And that's why I brought you guys in today, because I know you taught me and I know you taught others. And as a friend, I brought you here today so you could, you know, inspire other people who may or may not have been in that same situation, but to learn from what exactly, you may not know his story. He has a profile, but what's his story? As a teacher, what's her story? And so we are people, we are humans, and we do have feelings.
We do.
And we all have to learn by the day. So without further ado, I want us to close off to just say thank you, Miss Crawford and Mr. Carden, for coming in today to talk about the importance of education. Thank you everyone for being here and listening to us. Have a nice day.